Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. So in today's tutorial I'm going to be teaching you how to draft out a basic bodice block. So you need your pencil, you need your eraser, you need your long ruler, and you'd also be needing your curve ruler, and of course you are going to be needing your tape rule. So I started by creating a margin line. From the edge of my paper I marked out 2 inches downwards like this. I'm going to be marking it across the paper like this, 2 inches, but for you can make it 1 inch. Just do what works for you. This is not actually a standard, so but for me I just wanted to take out 2 inches. So I marked out 2 inches all the way down like this. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe, like, share, and click on the notification button to get notified when I drop a new video. So I started by marking out my bust point. I started from that margin line, marked my bust points. So yeah, it's actually 9.5, but it varies from person to person. So from your shoulder to your nipple, and then I marked from my shoulder to my under bust. I went ahead to the other side of the paper to repeat the same thing. So I went to this other side to mark out my waist measurement. So for this measurement is actually 15, but it varies from person to person. And then I marked out my length, which is 24 inches. So the next thing I did was to repeat the same thing for the other side, and then I will just connect the dots like this to draw out a straight line across my paper like this. So this first line is my bust line, then this other line that I'm going to be drawing now, it's my under bust line. So please, so that you don't confuse it, my under bust line, that's what I'm drawing out now. And then my waistline, I did not draw a line across for my waist because I'm going to be drafting out the back together. So my back waistline is different from my front waistline because your front carries your bust. So I went ahead to just mark another line, took it across for the length. So the next thing I want to do here is to draw out another margin. So the reason I'm drawing out this margin is because I want to use this bodice to create a form of like a shirt, a top that has a button down. That is the reason why I'm taking this 1 inch for the front, but it is totally optional. Yes, especially for your basic bodice block, you would not be needing that 1 inch that I created there. Okay, I actually took out 1.25, so you'll not be needing it for yours. So I'm just going to be creating a stroke that would help me indicate that I would not be needing that point for these tutorials. So every measurement I'm taking is going to be from the other line. Just pay close attention. So I went ahead to mark my shoulder line. So from that margin to this point I drew out is my shoulder line, dividing my shoulder measurements by 2 to give me that, and I just went ahead to connect down to my bust points. So the next thing I did was to mark my shoulder slant, which is 1 inch. From that margin line down is 1 inch for my shoulder slant. So far I have my shoulder measurements, I have my bust line, I have my under bust line, I have my waistline, though I've not drawn out a straight line for that, but and I also have the length of this basic body. All right, so just pay close attention so that you not miss any part of these tutorials. So I went ahead to measure 3 inches from the margin line, 3 inches upward and 3 inches downwards, as I just went ahead to create like a square shape like this. So this is for my front neckline, so it is actually 3 by 3 inches. So I created the square there like that. So I went to the middle of the square and I drafted that 1 inch. That 1 inch is to just give me a guideline to draw the curve of my neck. So I went ahead to use my curve ruler to create a curve line across like this. You see what I'm doing? So you see how curved it is because of that guideline I created. So I went ahead from that neck point and just marked out a straight line for the shoulder slant. So it is the front bodice that I'm drafting at now. So the next thing I did was to divide my bust measurement by 6, and I added 1.5 inches. Divide your bust measurement by 6, added 1.5 inches. So that is to indicate my chest line. So I went ahead to draw a line across. So this line is my chest line. Just ensure you are following, and I hope you are also drafting on your own paper so that you not miss it. So I've created my chest line. So I went ahead to just label them so that the lines are too much, it will not be confusing. So my under bust line. So I went ahead to just mark out my waistline now, like this. So I drew a line like this across. This is my waistline. So I indicated it here, my waistline, and then this is the M line. All right, so this is all the measurement that we have put down now. So the next thing I would do after indicating them is to divide my bust measurements by 4. So I actually used my tape. So I divided my bust measurements by 4, and I went ahead to mark it on both the chest line and the bust line. I repeat again, divided my bust measurements and went ahead to mark like that. So I went up by 3 inches from the chest line. I went up by 3 inches and then came in by half of an inch. This is actually to draw out my front armhole. So for my shoulder point, I drew a slanted line to that 1/2 inch that I measured, and I used my curve ruler to create a curve for the armhole, for the front armhole. All right. So it was not really looking as curvy as I wanted to be, so I had to erase it and just create a better curve. So I went ahead to use my hand to just blend it up at the bottom. All right, so this is my front armhole. So by the time I draft the back, you're going to be seeing that it's looking different because this front armhole comes in more than the back armhole. All right, so the next thing is to the next thing I want to do is to take my bust, my under bust measurement. So I divided my under bust by 4. So this is what I have here. So I'll just mark it out like this. Then I'll move over to my waistline and take my waistline measurement and divide it by 4 as well. So I'm going to just place it on the waistline, mark it there. So just to reconfirm, okay, I figured out that my under bust measurement, I did not divide it properly, so I had to redo it again. So and erase the other points that I had before. So the next thing I did was to indicate my bust span measurement, which is your nipple to your nipple. So I divided it by 2, marked it on the bust points, the under bust, the waistline, and I went down to mark it to the M line. So I went to use my straight ruler to just connect the dot from the bust point down to the M line. I drew out a straight line. So the next thing I did was to actually take my dart intake. So I took 0.75 on both sides, which is 1.5 inch divided by 2. So I took it on both sides like this. So I came down by 5 inches. So I'm just going to connect it from the bust line down to the waistline. I'm going to do the same down to the place I marked 5 inches and repeat the same for the other side. So you see, that's the dart intake that we've just done. So I'm going to just add what I removed as the dart intake. I'm going to add it on the underbust and on the waistline so that we are not going to have complications while you are sewing. It's not going to be too small. So the next thing I did was to divide my hip measurement by 4. So on this M line is actually the hip line, so I just indicated it there like that. So I'm going to just connect using my ruler. So ensure you are replicating what I'm doing on your own paper so that you will not get confused. All right, just ensure you are replicating it. So this is the front. So the other thing I'm going to be doing is to be dividing my shoulder, that shoulder line. I'm just going to be connecting it down to the bust point. This is totally optional, but it's really needed when you want to draft out your bustier or your corset. So that is that for the front pattern. So very easy. You see the way it is very easy. If you don't understand, ensure to backward the video and watch it over again. We're going to just be moving our hair to the other side of the paper to draw out our back block. So that line that I'm actually drawing is like to just give me a guideline. There's no standard measurement for that. I just needed a guideline, like some space away from the front bodies. So to get my back, I'm going to be actually doing the same thing that I did for the front, just a little bit different. All right, so I'm actually creating 1 inch for zip allowance. That is the 1 inch you are seeing me take, the 1 inch. So I will take my ruler and just roll it down. So this is actually for your zipper allowance. All right, so I just created this stroke to indicate that, okay, this is not where I'm going to be starting my measurement from, so that you don't get confused. So from that margin line, I took my shoulder measurement. So I went ahead to just measure what I had, so that I would use it as the chest line. You remember how we got our chest line, right? So I just went ahead to draw a straight line across like this. Alright, so I went ahead to draw another line from my shoulder line down to my chest line. So now I'm going to mark my back neckline. So I did not start from the other line. I actually started from the second line that I created. I marked 3 inches and then 1 inch downwards. So I created a rectangle shape, like by connecting the dots together, so it gave me rectangle shape. So the next thing I will do is to take in 1 inch on the shoulder line and just measure my shoulder slant. All right, you see how beautiful it is looking. So my shoulder, my armhole, to get my armhole for the back, I divided it by 2. So then I just went ahead to just mark it like this. So the next thing I did was to go in by 0.75. I went in by 0.75. So I'm just going to connect it from the shoulder point down like this. So I created a slanted line. Then I'm going to use my curve ruler. But before then, I want to replicate the measurement I got for my chest line and my bust line. I'm just going to replicate it on my back bodice. So I'm going to create that sweet curve, all right, on the armhole. You guys, you see how neat it is looking? I went ahead to just blend. You see how neat it is looking? See, pattern is not difficult. Just pay attention to details and you are going to get it correctly. Please ensure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are getting value from this tutorials, and ensure that you share, you like, and you comment if there's anything you'd like to contribute or you would like to ask. All right, so I would not be needing that on that bust line. All right, so I won't be needing that. So I'm just going to measure from my shoulder line down to my waistline for the back. All right, it's actually different from the front, so I'm just going to be marking it out. Ensure that you take that measurement on your model or your client, as the case may be. So this is what I have here. I'm just going to be indicating its chest line, bust, then waistline, which is your half back. So I just went ahead to just make the line straight so that it won't give me issues when I'm cutting. So the next thing I did was to actually take my waist tightening. So what I'm marking is actually half of an inch. So you see the way I'm marking it, half of an inch. I'm just going to draw a slanted line to connect them together. So the essence of this is that when you are fixing your zipper, it's just going to give you that smooth fit at the back so that your zipper would not poke. That is the reason why we are going in by half of an inch, all right, so that your zipper will not poke. You see the way I'm doing it. Ensure to replicate it on your paper as well. So the next thing I did was to actually divide my waist. So I indicated it on my paper. All right, see where I started it from, where I started taking the measurement from, so that you not make mistake when you are doing yours. That is where I started taking the measurement for the dart, which is the same 3.5 inches. So on the chest line, I'm going to come down by 1 inch for my dart. Then on the waistline, I'm going to come down by 5 inches as well, 5 or 6 inches. So I'm just going to draw a line across like this. You see what I did here? So I just went ahead to reconfirm if it is 3.5 so that I will not make mistake. So I hope so far you understand. I did not start from that point. All right. So you see what I'm doing? Just replicate the same on your paper. So I divided my hip measurements by 4 and indicated it on my paper. So I went ahead to my waistline to mark out my dart intake. I took out 0.75 on both sides. See what I did there? So I'm just going to connect it. So I went ahead to just stroke it out so that I will know that this is my dart intake. So everything I removed as my dart intake, I'm just going to be replacing it on the other end, which is the side seam. You see, I'm just going to be replicating them. So don't worry if maybe your shape is not coming out the way you want it to. When by the time you take out your dart, it's going to come out nicely, alright? So I went ahead to just blend. So you see how nicely it is looking. So I went ahead to just draw out my neckline using my curve ruler. So guys, that is that for the back pattern. See how nice it came out. So the next thing I will do is to just label my pattern paper and put the necessary indications. This is my front, this is my side seam, this is my side seam, this is my center back, this is my center front. For the center front, I'm going to be indicating that it should be cut on fold. That is the essence of this arrow that I put there. Alright, so I went ahead to indicate how many pieces should be cut. Cut 1 piece. So for the back, cut 2 pieces because you are not cutting on fold, so you will need 2. Then I indicate that this is my zipper allowance. Alright. So you see, basically that is just it. Ensure you label your pattern. Very important. So after you have done that, you are good to go. This is your basic body block. Chicken. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next video.